Ladies and gentlemen, gather close today. We talk about justice. Not the kind that comes with gavels and ropes, but the kind that moves in silence, unseen, yet always on time. Karma, a cosmic career if you will, and rest assured, it has their address. There's no forwarding required. Many of us live under the false illusion that we can hide from the consequences of our actions, that somehow we can play our games, dodge the truth, and slip through the cracks of morality. But I am here to tell you today that there is no place where you can run, that karma will not find you. It doesn't matter how clever you think you are, how well you've hidden your lies, how deeply you've buried your guilt beneath the weight of distractions, or how far you think you've run from your past. Karma has a keen sense of direction and the precision of an arrow shot from the bow of fate. It moves without hesitation or doubt, and its reach is endless. You cannot escape it. The universe is not some chaotic accident that allows you to evade accountability. No, it is a precise and deliberate machine powered by the laws of cause and effect. You see, every action, every word, every decision you make is a seed planted in the soil of time, and whether you realize it or not, it will grow. You may walk away feeling that you have escaped untouched, but I promise you this, that seed will find its way to you. It will fester and grow until the moment comes when the truth must be revealed. The lie you told, the harm you caused, the person you betrayed will eventually circle back to you with a vengeance that cannot be ignored. You may look around at the world and see people living in what seems like comfort, succeeding without apparent consequence for their actions. It is a mirage. They are not immune. They are simply delaying the inevitable. They are accumulating a debt they cannot possibly repay. For those who believe in the illusion of escape, let me remind you of a simple truth. Time is both your greatest ally and your deadliest enemy. While you may think you are getting away with something today, the passage of time is the one thing that can never be avoided. It wears down the masks we put on and strips us of our illusions, exposing the raw truth beneath. The arrogance of thinking you can hide from karma is laughable. People have tried it for centuries, believing that money, power, or influence could shield them from the forces of the universe. They have erected walls around themselves, built impenetrable fortresses of deceit, and surrounded themselves with sycophants and false friends who will lie for them, protect them, and cover their tracks. But the truth is, no matter how high your walls are, no matter how thick your armor may seem, there is always a crack, always a weakness. Karma is patient. It waits, and when it strikes, it will tear down every wall and expose the truth in ways you cannot possibly predict. For some of you, this may be a hard truth to face. You may feel the weight of guilt creeping into your mind, the sting of regret licking at the edges of your consciousness. But understand this, regret is a healthy response. It is a reminder that the balance of the universe is shifting and that the wrongs you've committed will eventually be righted. The universe has a way of taking everything into account, and there is nothing that can be left unpunished. Not one action, not one word, not one moment where you thought no one was watching. The threads of karma are so finely woven into the fabric of life that they never miss a stitch. People often try to bargain with their wrongdoings, trying to atone in ways that satisfy their egos but not their souls. They perform small acts of kindness to balance out their sins, donate to charity, offer a smile where there was once a sneer, but none of these things can undo the damage. Karma does not deal in half measures. You cannot bribe the forces of the universe with empty gestures. The truth is that karma isn't just about punishment. It is about balance. It doesn't seek vengeance for the sake of vengeance, but it seeks the restoration of the balance that was disrupted by your actions. There is a moment when karma will show up, and it will come when you least expect it. It will not announce its arrival with fanfare or thunderous warning. No, karma is far too intelligent for that. It arrives quietly, almost as if it had always been there, waiting for the right moment to make itself known, and when it does, it will not be some dramatic confrontation. No, it will find a way to make you face the consequences of your actions in ways that will cut to the core of who you are. It will expose your vulnerabilities and remind you that there is no escape from what you have done. In the end, there is no hiding from karma. You cannot run, you cannot disguise your sins, and you cannot outsmart the forces of fate. The only way to avoid the inevitable is to live with a sense of integrity, to act with the knowledge that your actions ripple out into the world, touching everything and everyone. You must make choices that are conscious, that are aligned with the truth, and that reflect the kind of person you want to be when karma comes knocking. So if you are one of those who believes that your actions are invisible to the world, that the lies you tell and the harm you cause won't be noticed, I urge you to reconsider. The truth has a way of making itself known. The damage you do, the pain you inflict, the choices you make, they all leave a mark on the world, and eventually they will circle back to you. There is no escape from the consequences of your actions. Let me remind you that karma does not discriminate. It does not care about your social status, your wealth, your power, or your influence. It doesn't care about how many people you fooled or how many masks you wear. Karma sees through all of it. It knows you for who you truly are, and it will meet you in the moment you are least prepared for it. You cannot outrun it, you cannot outwit it, and you cannot escape it. It is as much a part of the universe as the laws of gravity, and it is just as inevitable. In closing, I want you to remember this. The choices you make today will echo throughout your life, and they will come back to you when you least expect it. You cannot hide from karma, and you cannot avoid the consequences of your actions. It is only a matter of time before the balance is restored. So ask yourself this: what kind of person do you want to be when karma comes calling? Will you be ready to face the truth, to accept the consequences of your choices, and to make amends for the wrongs you have committed? Or will you be someone who tries to outrun the inevitable, only to find that there is no place to hide? The choice is yours, but make no mistake, karma will always find you. It is not a matter of if, but when. And when it does, you will have no choice but to face the truth and the consequences of your actions. So choose wisely, live with integrity, and remember that what you do in the darkness will always be brought to light. You may think you are clever, that you can hide your secrets in the shadows, bury your sins deep within the recesses of your mind, and carry on like nothing ever happened. But let me tell you, the universe has a way of making sure that the darkness does not last forever. It is only a matter of time before the truth breaks through, like a crack of sunlight breaking through the thickest of clouds. The way you treat others, the choices you make when no one is watching, the things you do when you believe you are beyond accountability, these are the very things that will define your fate. Karma is not a blind, unforgiving force. It is a reflection of your own actions, a mirror of your soul. It doesn't matter how well you've masked your intentions or how deep you think you've buried the consequences of your wrongdoings. Eventually, you will be exposed. There's no hiding from the truth, and there is no escaping the consequences. Think about it. You may have hurt someone, betrayed their trust, used them for your own gain, or caused them pain with words or actions you thought were insignificant at the time. You may have done so thinking it would never catch up to you, that you could simply move on and forget. But the universe doesn't forget. Every action, every word, every choice leaves an imprint, whether visible or not. You may walk away unscathed for now, but the energy of your actions will travel. rippling outward like a stone cast into a still pond, and it will return to you when you least expect it. You cannot hide from the truth. It will always find you. You may think you've managed to cover your tracks, that you've played your cards so cleverly that no one will ever know what you've done. But the lies you weave have a way of unraveling themselves. The guilt that you push down, the shame that you bury in the deepest parts of your heart, will resurface. It will come back to you, not as punishment, but as the universe's way of restoring balance. Your actions are like seeds planted in the soil of existence, and no matter how long it takes, they will grow. The truth will rise like a vine, entwining you in its grasp, until there is nowhere to hide. Some people spend their lives thinking they can outrun the truth, that they can live in a bubble of lies and self-deception. They believe that the world is blind, that the universe is indifferent, and that they can manipulate every situation to their advantage. But deep down, they know, in the quietest moments, that the weight of their actions is a burden they cannot escape. It eats away at them, quietly and relentlessly, like a slow poison. And even if they manage to deceive others, they can never truly escape the consequences of their choices. For those who think they can manipulate the truth, I urge you to take a step back and look at the bigger picture. Think about the pain you've caused, the lies you've told, the trust you've shattered. Do you truly believe that you can continue living without facing the consequences? Karma doesn't care about your excuses, your justifications, or your need to feel like you are above reproach. It cares about what you've done, and it will come for you when the time is right. You may not see it now, but the universe always has a way of exposing the lies and bringing the truth to light. What you do in the darkness will always find its way into the light. It may not happen immediately, it may not happen in the way you expect, but eventually your actions will come back to you. Whether it is in the form of broken relationships, lost opportunities, or the heavy burden of guilt and regret that gnaws at your soul, the consequences of your actions will always find their way to you. It is not a matter of if, but when. Some of you may try to justify your actions, convincing yourself that what you did wasn't really that bad, that it was necessary for your own survival, or that the people you hurt deserved it. You may tell yourself that you were only looking out for yourself, that you were protecting your own interests. But let me remind you, the universe does not judge based on your own perception of righteousness. It judges based on the impact of your actions. It sees the harm you caused, the pain you inflicted, the lives you altered, and it will not let you go without reckoning for it. There is no escaping the consequences of your choices. There is no escaping karma. You can run, you can hide, you can pretend it isn't coming, but in the end, you will face the music. The universe is not cruel, it is just. Karma does not seek to punish for the sake of punishment, but to restore the balance that you disrupted with your actions. It is not about vengeance, it is about correction. It is about ensuring that every wrong is made right, that every imbalance is restored, and when karma does catch up to you, when the truth is revealed, when your past comes crashing into your present, there will be no hiding. You will have to face the people you've wronged, the consequences of your decisions, and the truth of who you really are. There will be no excuses, no way to deny it. The walls will come down, the masks will fall, and you will be forced to confront the person you've become. This is the beauty of karma. It doesn't allow you to live in denial forever. It forces you to face the truth. And while this may feel uncomfortable, even painful, it is ultimately a gift. Because only through facing the truth can you grow, change, and evolve. Only when you are confronted with the consequences of your actions can you begin to truly heal and make amends. It is a harsh teacher, but a necessary one. It is the only way to bring about true transformation. For those of you who are walking down a path of destruction, who are actively hurting others, lying to protect yourselves, or betraying the trust of those who love you, I urge you to stop and think. The path you are on will not end in glory or satisfaction. It will not bring you happiness or peace. It will only bring you emptiness, guilt, and a soul that is slowly withering under the weight of your own actions. And when karma comes, as it inevitably will, it will hit harder than you could ever imagine. But there is hope. There is always a chance to change. The beauty of karma is that it is not about permanent punishment. It is about learning, growing, and evolving. If you are willing to face your actions, if you are willing to accept responsibility for the harm you have caused, there is a way to find redemption. But it starts with the willingness to confront the truth, no matter how difficult it may be. And so I ask you today to reflect on your actions. Ask yourself, what have I done in the darkness? What choices have I made that I thought no one would see? What lies have I told to protect myself? The truth is that no matter how deeply you bury your actions, no matter how far you think you can run from the consequences, karma will always find you. It is not a matter of if, but when. The question is, will you be ready when it comes? If you are wise, if you understand the power of karma, you will choose to live with integrity. You will choose to make amends for the harm you have caused, to seek forgiveness, and to right the wrongs that you have committed. You will choose to live in the light, knowing that your actions will come back to you, and that you want them to come back in the form of love, kindness, and positive energy, not regret, pain, and retribution. So as we close today, remember this: there is no hiding from karma. There is no place where you can escape the consequences of your actions. No matter how deep you bury your secrets, no matter how far you run, the truth will always find its way to the surface. And when it does, you will have to face the music. The question is not whether karma will come, but whether you will be ready to face it when it does. Will you stand tall, knowing you have lived with integrity and honor? Or will you shrink away, burdened by guilt and regret, knowing that you cannot outrun the consequences of your choices? The choice is yours. Choose wisely, live with honor, and remember that what you do in the darkness will always be brought to light. Let those words sink deep into your consciousness, for they are not just a warning. They are the foundation of a truth so profound, it will echo throughout your entire existence. Every step you take, every decision you make, every word you speak, they are all being written into the fabric of your life. You cannot outrun the path you have set for yourself, and the sooner you realize this, the sooner you will find peace within yourself, and the sooner you will understand that karma is not an enemy, but a teacher. As humans, we are often driven by the desire to conceal our actions, to hide from the consequences of our mistakes, to walk through life as though we can play the game of deception without ever being caught. We tell ourselves that nobody will notice, that the world is too distracted to care about the lies we tell or the harm we cause. We convince ourselves that we are smart enough, clever enough, powerful enough to evade the cosmic justice that comes for all who stray from the path of integrity. But let me tell you something, there is no hiding from the truth. The darkness may seem safe, a place where you can conceal your true self, but it is also a place where your soul begins to rot. In the quiet corners of your mind, in the moments where you are alone with your thoughts, the truth gnaws at you. You may try to bury it beneath layers of justification, distraction, and denial, but it will always find a way to the surface. Karma doesn't care about your excuses or your rationalizations. It cares about the truth, the real cost of your actions, and it will always reveal it at the right time. The real power in life lies not in the ability to hide our wrongdoings, but in the courage to confront them. In this world, there will always be opportunities to stray, to take shortcuts, to deceive, to hurt. But it is in the choices we make, in the moments where we could have taken the wrong path but chose the right one, that our true character is revealed. Karma is not a force that seeks to punish for the sake of punishment. It is a force that seeks balance, a force that demands accountability, and one that will always find its way to those who try to escape it. Now, consider this. Why do we do it? Why do we hide our actions? Why do we attempt to play the game of deception as though we are untouchable? It is because, deep down, we fear the consequences of our own actions. We fear the judgment of others. We fear the shame and the guilt that will come with owning up to our mistakes. But what we fail to realize is that by hiding from the truth, by evading the consequences, we are only prolonging the suffering. The longer you run, the harder it becomes to face the reality of what you've done, and the heavier the weight of that burden becomes. When you make a choice that goes against your core values, when you hurt someone, when you lie, when you manipulate, you are creating a ripple effect that touches not only your life, but the lives of everyone around you. Even if you think you are getting away with it, even if you think nobody sees or knows, the truth is, karma always knows, it always sees, and it is always relentlessly waiting for the right moment to restore balance. Many of us think we can hide behind our wealth, our power, our status. We think that if we have enough influence, we can cover our tracks, smooth over our wrongdoings, and walk away unscathed. We think that by surrounding ourselves with people who will turn a blind eye to our flaws, we can evade the reach of karma. But this is nothing more than a fleeting illusion. No amount of money, no amount of status, no amount of influence will protect you from the truth. It is only a matter of time before the mask you wear is ripped off. And when that moment comes, you will have to face the consequences of everything you've tried to bury. And let me make it clear, karma is not in a hurry. It doesn't act on impulse. It doesn't strike out of anger or frustration. It moves with the precision of a master architect, patiently weaving the web of cause and effect, waiting for the moment when everything will align. The truth will come when you least expect it. You will not be able to predict it, and you certainly will not be able to control it. So while you may think you are pulling the strings and controlling the narrative, the reality is that you are merely a character in the grand story of life, and karma is the author. When you hurt others, whether through betrayal, lies, selfishness, or negligence, you are setting yourself on a path that will inevitably lead to your reckoning. The damage you cause will not go unnoticed. It may not happen immediately. It may not happen in the form you expect. But karma will find a way to expose what you have done. It will show up in your life when you least expect it, and when it does, you will have to face the truth of your own actions. You may think that you are smart enough to avoid the consequences, that you can talk your way out of it, or manipulate the situation to your favor. But that is nothing more than a temporary escape, a fleeting illusion of control. The truth is that every action you take has consequences, whether immediate or delayed, and the more you try to outrun those consequences, the greater the eventual fallout will be. Karma does not forget. It does not overlook. It does not forgive simply because you have managed to convince yourself that what you did was justified. It operates according to the universal laws of cause and effect, and it will always find its way back to you. If you are wise, you will understand that the only way to avoid the inevitable is to live with integrity, to face the truth, and to take responsibility for your actions. This does not mean you will never make mistakes. We all make mistakes. But it does mean that when you do, you must own up to them. You must make amends where possible, and you must strive to become better. The process of redemption begins with self-awareness, with the willingness to acknowledge your wrongs, and the determination to change your ways. It is a long road, but it is the only road that leads to true peace and freedom. When you live with integrity, when you make choices based on honesty, kindness, and empathy, karma will work in your favor. The balance will shift in your direction. The good you do will return to you in ways that you cannot predict. And when that happens, you will see that living with honor is not just about avoiding the consequences of wrongdoing, but about aligning yourself with the flow of the universe. Karma is a reflection of the energy we put into the world. If we put out kindness, honesty, and respect, that is what we will receive in return. But if we put out deceit, anger, and betrayal, that is also what we will receive. The law of cause and effect is inescapable. There is no way to cheat it. You cannot manipulate the energy of the universe in your favor for long. The truth will always catch up with you. And so, as we reflect on these truths, I ask you to consider your own life. What choices have you made that you are hiding from? What lies have you told? What wrongs have you committed that you have buried in the darkness? Ask yourself, what kind of person do you want to be when karma comes knocking on your door? Do you want to be someone who has lived with integrity, who has faced the consequences of their actions and learned from them? Or do you want to be someone who has spent their life running, hiding, and pretending that they are immune to the consequences of their choices? The choice is yours, but remember this: the longer you wait, the harder it becomes to face the truth. And when karma comes, it will not be kind. It will not care about your excuses or your justifications. It will only care about what you've done, and it will restore the balance that you have disrupted. So choose wisely, live with honor, and remember, the darkness never lasts forever. What you do in the shadows will always be brought into the light, and when it is, you will either stand tall in the truth or be brought to your knees by the weight of your own actions. The choice is yours. In conclusion, remember that no matter how much you try to hide, the truth always finds a way to surface. Karma is an inevitable force that seeks balance, and the actions you take, whether in the light or the darkness, will always come back to you. The choice is yours. Live with integrity, face the consequences of your actions, and grow from them, or continue running and suffer the inevitable reckoning. The universe doesn't forget, and in the end, what you put out into the world is what you will receive. Choose wisely, for the truth will always come to light.